Hi, reading friends. Welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, I forgot to say that yesterday. It is the week of Thanksgiving. So excited about that. Today, we are continuing our informational text, learning about pilgrims and Native Americans today. Again, today, I'm going to include my presentation slide so that you can jump in and watch this video. A really good video about the Wampanoag way, about the people and what they looked like. I would love for you to go on. It's about 5 minutes. So I will include this presentation so that you can go in and click that just to see if it's working a little bit better, because we've had some problems with the sound on that, like I mentioned yesterday. So it is there for you on that extra slide you can look at. But let's go ahead and let's talk about our learning target. Again, today we're talking about I can find key details in a text. So I can ask and answer questions such as who, what, when, where, why, and how. And I will know I have it when I can write a key detail for each subheading. Again, here is what can be nonfiction. Just about anything that you learn about can be nonfiction. Today's headings are the life of Tisquantum. Who do you think was Tisquantum? So if I gave you a little sneak peek, who do you think is Tisquantum? We would say that he is a Native American, and we're going to learn about him a little bit today. So the subheadings give us direction. Remember, each subheading is specific. It tells us special things about that section. So if the subheading is called early life, then it's probably going to be about maybe when they were kids or earlier in their life when they were younger. Home again, that may be like if they're coming home or if they are arriving from another place and they've been gone a while and then coming home. The pilgrims arrive. Obviously, that's going to be when the pilgrims came. And life with the pilgrims. Under that section, you're going to learn about that. So each heading or subheading is important. That's going to tell you what is under each one. So make sure you're paying close attention to those as well. Yesterday, we talked about taking notes can be easy. And we talked about sometimes just taking notes on bold words or interesting facts like, oh, I didn't know that. I want to write that down. You can highlight that. You can underline that, especially if it's in print. Now, on the computer, we can't do that, but we can look at the computer and then write it down in our journal and just, put a little star by that. Hey, that was an interesting fact. Or you could write out your bold words. I had these 3 vocabulary words today, and this is what they mean. So you could write that on a piece of paper or in your journal again. So all of that is available. Also, if you have Post-it notes, Post-it notes are great ways to take notes, especially if you're doing some reading, maybe some books that you've brought from home and you just want to take a little note, jot a note down on a Post-it note. So today I have pulled up another paragraph from our reading, and it's called Home Again. And it says, in 1619, Tisquantum finally made his way back across the ocean to his home. When he got there, he saw a lot of empty houses. Many people have died of a mysterious sickness. So my note is going to be that Tisquantum came home. And we may learn from our reading where he came home from, but right now we don't know that. So Tisquantum comes home. And when he comes home, he finds out that many people have died in his village because of a mysterious sickness. So just 2 quick little notes, very short sentences, but it helps me remember what I was thinking at that moment. So those are just really good tips that you can use as you're reading. Today, we are going to take a look again at a read and think sheet just to help us organize our thoughts. Remember, Mrs. Steck said when you get it on your screen and it looks like this, you can come up to the magnifying glass. Sorry, I almost said microphone. Hello. You can go up to the magnifying glass and you can blow that up a little bit so that you can see it better. Also, this bar slides back and forth if you have something that's over the page that you need to look at. And this bar goes up and down so that you can slide it if you need to. All right, so it says, read early life. What happened to Tisquantum in 1614? So first, let's look at our very first page. So the title says, the life of Tisquantum. Tisquantum lived hundreds of years ago. In 1621, he met the Pilgrims, and he helped them get used to their new home. And it says, as you read, think of different words that you would use to describe Tisquantum. What would you say about his character or his personality? Let's take a look at the first part of our story. It says, who was Tisquantum? Tisquantum's life was hard, but he still helped the Pilgrims when they needed it. Here's a little bit about his early life. We don't know much about Tisquantum's early life, but we do know he was a member of the Native American nation called the Wampanoag, which we learned about in our last video and lesson yesterday. We also know that in 1614, sailors from Europe came to his community and they kidnapped him with about 20 other men, and they forced them to become their slaves. So when he was younger, they were kidnapped and taken into slavery. It says the sailors took the men back to Spain. So they came from the United States, where they found them in America, and they loaded them up on their ships, and they took them across the ocean to Spain, which is close to France, England, Spain. Tisquantum was able to escape, and he went to England, and he learned how to speak English. So now he's learning a little bit about the English language, which is where the Pilgrims came from. Okay. On home again, it says, I better go up and check. Just early life. I got to stop. It says, what happened to Tisquantum in 1614? So it says that he was kidnapped and taken as a slave to Spain. That's kind of sad. I'm hoping we have a better ending. Let's take a look. So home again. In 1619, Tisquantum finally made his way back across the ocean to his home. When he got there, he saw a lot of empty houses. Many people had died from a mysterious sickness. Tisquantum was shocked. Got to jump down to the next part. Tisquantum was shocked and sad, but he didn't give up. He went to live with another Wampanoag community. In time, he found some of his family and his friends had survived, and he had met them. Yay! Good news! Woohoo! I was starting to get sad there. So I want to stop, and we need to answer that question. But before we do, let's look. So right up here was Tisquantum's home, which is really in the area called Maine in the United States, probably at the border of Canada. And so he went originally over to Spain and stayed, and then was able to break free. It doesn't say how, but he made his way to England. And then that's when a lot of ships were coming back and forth between England and the United States. And so he made his way back to his homeland and was able to reunite with some of his family. So question number 2 says, in home again, what did Tisquantum see when he got back home? He saw empty houses and realized people had died of a mysterious illness. Okay? So in looking at this page, I also noticed something that we learned about last week, and that was when we have a picture and we have words on it, it's called a caption. And those words can tell us what is happening in this picture. So we need to read these words. It says, though he is often referred to as Squanto, I've heard Squanto before. His actual Wampanoag name was Tisquantum. So I have heard about Squanto before. I don't know if you have or not, but his actual name was Tisquantum. Awesome. So see, we would have missed that if we had not read the caption on the picture. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to you. I have read until we get to here. So I've read this first part here on your page. So when you click into your independent practice, you are still going to be able to read down this section and this section. I would like to park for just a second on these bold words. The vocabulary word here is interpreter. Have you heard of an interpreter before? Last year, I had an interpreter in my classroom for students who were hearing impaired. Miss Donna and Miss Best were in my classroom, and they were the interpreters. And they would talk sign language with their hands, which I could not do very well, and be able to communicate what I was saying to the people who could not hear me. So that was an interpreter. Also, we have interpreters who are able to translate languages. So if someone is speaking French and they know English, they can communicate back and forth between me and the person speaking French, and they can translate or tell me what that person is saying if I don't understand them. Okay. The other vocabulary word is resilient, and it says he was smart, brave, and resilient. Horrible things had happened in his life, but he kept going. That's what resilient means. It means that even though you've had a problem, you still overcome that problem. Even though you have had some distress or you've struggled in a certain area, maybe even now you're struggling in reading, but you're continuing to try and to keep plugging away. That is resilient, that you're bouncing back and you're still trying and not getting down on yourself. So 2 really good vocabulary words to focus on there during your reading time. Also today, you are going to have some questions about the passage. I have put those text boxes back in, so if you click in the bottom corners, those text boxes will pop up, and you will be able to type your letter choice for your answer. Also, I have included, no, I haven't. I was going to say I've included this vocabulary sheet, but I did not include it into your activities. So all you will have is just your passage and your questions to do for me today for independent practice. Don't forget to go up and share that. I have put my email address that you can use to share that back with me. You might want to write that down so that you can type that in when you share that back to me or whoever is your teacher. You would share that back to Miss Carden if you're doing her work, back to me if you're with Miss Anderson and Miss Roy. All right, so that is the end of our lesson today. Don't forget to pull up my slides and watch that video. I think you'll really like that, the Wampanoag way, just so you can see how they dressed and how they looked a long time ago. I am so excited that this week is Thanksgiving. You guys enjoy being away. Even if you cannot get with all of your family, enjoy a meal together. Enjoy just relaxing and not having to do work. You do not have to get on Google Classroom while we're off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You don't have to go over your sight words. Just take a break. Just enjoy and rest and relax. And I will be back with you again on Monday. And for parents who are watching or listening, I'm sure that there will be lots of communication coming back and forth through Dojo. So don't forget to pull that up as well, so we can stay in touch together with any communications that we have. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.